Oh hi, it's me, Root Beer. So, recently I've been going down this weird train of thought with Vanguard, so I was looking at the most recent V collection and I saw that all of the old V Collection 1 Jewel Knights were being reprinted, and that got me thinking about the V reprint policy again, which got me thinking about Luard and the emergency ban list where they restricted him in the main, which got me thinking of Rivier and the emergency errata that they gave her, which got me thinking about Dust and how he had been errata'd pre-release, and that's going to be the topic of today's video. So, for those of you that don't know, an errata in card games is when the company, Bushiroad, Konami, whoever, decides to issue a change to the text of a card. This can be for a number of reasons, such as correcting a mistranslation or clarifying the effect of a card, or it could be used to nerf a card that was maybe a bit too strong. An example of the former is Serrated Draco Kid. This card reads, Act. Generation Break 1, Counterblast 1, put this unit in your soul. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, search for up to 1 card with the Blaze ability, or a grade 3 card from among them, call it to rearguard circle, and shuffle your deck. If you have a Vanguard with Dragonic Blade Master in its name, at the end of that turn, you may return the called unit to your hand. However, the original version was misprinted, and instead of saying a card with the Blaze ability or a grade 3, it said a grade 3 card with the Blaze ability, which is significantly worse than the original. And for an example of the latter, we have Top Idol Riviere. Riv had 2 skills, but we only care about the second one, so the original text for her second skill read, at the end of the battle it attacked, cost, discard 2 cards from your hand, write up to 1 card with Riviere in its card name from your hand as stand, and that unit gets drive -1 until end of turn. You may notice there is a line of text missing that you would have expected to be there. And so, after a couple months of absolutely destroying the meta, Bushiroad decided that maybe this wasn't the most balanced ability in the world and slapped a hard once per turn on it. So, in general, erratas are, bad. Nobody wants to stop in the middle of the game to be told, no, actually, your card doesn't do that, the text on it is wrong. It's annoying, confusing, and depending on the person you're playing against, could start an argument. In the case of a mistranslation, it's kind of inevitable. You want a card to work the way it was designed to. However, in the case of cards like Riviere, where it's too strong for its time, you could just, ban it. That's kinda what the ban list is for. I'd rather a card just chill on the ban list until the meta catches up than be nerfed and left behind. However, every now and then, we get a card that is so broken that it just can't be released the way that it's written, and Bushiroad has to change the text before it's even released. Which brings us to the star of today's video, Zeroth Dragon of the End of the World, Dust. So, the original pre-errata text of this card reads, when it's placed on Vanguard Circle, Counterblast 2, until end of turn your opponent's Vanguards and Rearguard lose all of their ability, and their grade empowered increase or decrease to 1. Then, choose one of your opponent's Vanguards and deal 1 damage. And you'll notice that there's a particular line of text that's missing from that second effect. Yeah, so the original pre-errata version of Dust could just burn you for game. There are no conditions or restrictions on it, just deal the 6 damage, GG, shake my hand. This effect is utterly broken. This ain't Yu-Gi-Oh! We can't just negate the effect and be okay. Vanguard has very little interaction, and most of it happens in the battle phase. When a unit activates their ability in Vanguard, there's generally no way to stop it, so unrestricted burn damage is not the best design. And to really hammer the point home, let's quickly compare Dust to another card that could burn for game that existed at the same time, Conquering Supreme Dragon, Dragonic Vanquisher VMAX! This may or may not be an excuse for me to shit-talk this card in the middle of a video. So, VMAX reads, GB3 Thunderstrike 5, Counterblast 2, at the end of the battle that this unit attacked a Vanguard, if your opponent has no rearguards, you may pay cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's Vanguards and deal 1 damage. And it has a continuous skill. When this unit attacks Vanguard, choose one of your opponent's rearguard circles for each face-up Vanquisher in your G-zone, and this unit battles both the Vanguard and all the units on the chosen rearguard circles in one attack. So, on paper, VMAX shares a lot of similarities with Dust. It's GB3, so you're not using it until your second stride minimum. It costs Counterblast 2, and it can burn you for game. However, the restriction of an empty board makes VMAX far more impractical than Dust. If your opponent had a way to call during the battle phase or could otherwise protect their rear guards, then VMAX is just kind of a dead turn. And that's the major difference is, VMAX you have to think about what resources you have available and whether or not you can fulfill the condition, where Dust is just Monkey Brain Counterblast 2. On top of that, Dust being a nation card means it could be slotted in across multiple different decks. So yeah, Dust was maybe just a little bit too strong. And naturally, the card was quite controversial when it was first revealed. People were not particularly pleased to see a card that just says, "You win, lol." Though there were also a number of people who thought Dust was perfectly fine as originally written. I think it should be pretty clear by now which side of that debate I was on. In the end, Bushiroad sided with the anti-Dust side and errata'd the card to say it only deals damage at 4 or less. Unfortunately, the errata kinda left Dust as the worst Zeroth dragon out of all of them. The pseudo-deletion gave you some power and could cut off G-guards, but I don't think it ever had more value than just trying to play your clan normally. It would have been interesting to see if they could turn the burn damage into something more interesting, but at the end of the day, that's not what happened, so we can only speculate. So yeah, that's the story of Dust. It was revealed as a super broken card, lots of people complained about it, and then Bushiroad nerfed it. While this isn't the first or last time that Bushiroad had to pre-errata a card like this, I do think Dust was the most interesting. A lot of the other ones I learned about ended up being some form of infinite loop, which just isn't as fun, you know? That is going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you liked the video, then please do all the things that make algorithms happy. What do you think about Dust? Do you think it was broken, or should we be living in a universe where the errata never happened? What are your favorite stories of other cards being pre-nerfed and why? This can be from any TCG, by the way, not just Vanguard. And do you think Bushiroad should consider this course of action more often? There is a certain Liberator Dragon right now that looks primed to break the game. And I'm sure we all wish that that card maybe had a couple more lines of text on it just to restrict the ability a bit. Thank you to our patrons, Darren, Cole, Josh, Jeremy, and Mewwill. If you like our content, consider supporting us on Patreon at Nexus at Night. $5 gets you a whole-ass bonus show, $10 gets you a shout-out like I just did, and early access to videos like this one. We also have merch, link will be in the description. We also have a promo code for 50cards.shop. Use code @night to get 5% off your order. Thank you for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.